called theme completion or para completion, you can say. Given the vast amounts of personal data being collected by private companies and state agencies and their flow across national jurisdictions, the absence of data protection legal framework in India has been a cause of deep concern. What is happening? The personal data being collected by both private and state agencies. Government companies are collecting private data and private companies are also collecting private data or personal data of a human being. And what is happening after collecting data? The data is going from one jurisdiction to other jurisdiction, one place to another place, one company to another company. And what is happening means the absence of data protection legal framework. There is no data protection legal framework. Our data can go anywhere. So there is no data protection legal framework in India, and that is the cause of concern. So data can be misused because there is no law, there is no legal framework for data. So blank. The need for legislation was underlined last year. Now, need for legislation. So law should come and there should be some protection of data from the law. So it started last year only with the landmark judgment in Justice K.S. Puttaswamy v. Union of India. K.S. Puttaswamy v. Union of India that held the right to privacy to be a fundamental right. So according to the Justice Puttaswamy, what is he saying? Every person has a right to privacy. A right to privacy is also a fundamental right. Against this backdrop, the draft legislation on data protection submitted by a committee of experts chaired by Justice B.N. Srikrishna to Ministry of Elections and Information Technology after year-long public consultations provides a sound foundation on which to speedily build India's legal framework. So again, what has happened against this backdrop? A draft means a written document or typed document is nothing but draft. So on data protection, there was a draft legislation submitted by whom? Submitted by a committee of experts, especially headed by Srikrishna, B.N. Srikrishna. To whom did he submit the draft legislation? To the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology. And after year-long public consultations provides a sound foundation. So throughout the year they had consultations. After 1 year or after year-long consultations, it provides a sound foundation of which to speedily build India's legal framework. So the passage is completely about the personal data and the protection of personal or private data. And before the blank, he was talking about there is no legal framework, and after the blank, there was some legal work done by people after the blank. This is akin. Akin means similar, akin to, similar to. In Cloze test, it regularly appears. Akin to, similar to. Both have same meaning, both follow same preposition. This is akin to means similar to. This is similar to contractual relationship that places obligations on the entities entrusted with data and who are obligated to seek the consent of the principal for the use of personal information. Consent means permission. Now, according to the first option, the person, whoever is taking data, he should take permission first. Can I use it for this? Can I use your data for this particular process? Can I circulate it also? He needs to take permission. If the giver gives the permission, then the principal can use the personal information, otherwise no. Second one, he is talking about relationship between giver and taker of personal information. Second one, it seeks to codify the relationship between individuals and firms, state. Again, second also is talking about what is the relationship between individuals and firms or individuals versus state institutions. He is talking more about relationship in first and second, maybe not related. Third one, this is even more so because in many cases, individuals whose data have been used and processed by agencies, both private firms and state entities, are oblivious. Oblivious means unaware. Oblivious always takes two. Oblivious to the purpose for which they are being harnessed. Sometimes they take the public private information and they don't tell what they are using that particular private information. Sometimes have you given your Aadhaar card Xerox or PAN card Xerox? Do you know this thumb rule? Whenever you give the documents Xerox, always you need to sign with the date and for the purpose. Do you do that? No. Suppose you give blank Aadhaar card Xerox and your passport. I can misuse that also if you give it to me. But if you sign and sign a date and I am giving this to this particular person for this purpose, then I need to use only for that purpose. I can't do it for some other purpose. So he is saying in third, people can misuse. These government entities or private firms, they may misuse. They don't tell for what purpose they are using that particular personal data. Maybe third one. Fourth one, the draft legislation puts the onus. Onus means burden, onerous. The draft legislation puts the burden on data fiduciary to seek clear information. This can be the conclusion rather than middle, because it's talking about draft legislation. Earlier draft legislation is not mentioned. After the blank only legislation was mentioned. So it can be conclusion rather than the middle statement. Fifth one, there can be an issue with the possibility of withdrawal of data of the principal to allow for the use and processing of sensitive personal data. So answer can be 3 or 5. In the 5, what is he saying? There can be issue. What kind of issue will be there? Possibility of withdrawal of data. Data can be withdrawn of the principal and to allow for the use and processing of sensitive personal. So answer 3 or 5? Answer is 3. How is the section, by the way? 90% must have skipped this section. How many of you have attempted? Nobody. Unnecessarily I am explaining. Shall we skip? Shall we skip? No? If you don't read, how can you understand whatever I am explaining? The disconnection happens. There will be no connection. If you have already read, then you can understand it very quickly and easily. Otherwise, overflow happens over the mind. Anyways, the intensity of competition has steadily increased since the entry of Reliance Jio, founded by deep-pocketed billionaire Mukesh Ambani. The intensity of competition increased. When the competition increased, when Jio came into the market, who is the head of Jio, who is the founder of Jio, means Mukesh Ambani. This has left the incumbents battling furiously to protect their turf with tariff reductions to match the newcomers' no prisoners approach to pricing of its voice and data service. Now, other service providers are fighting against this newcomer. Newcomer is giving everything free. Everything, when Jio came, it was issuing everything free data. And the other service providers, they were battling with their tariff. Tariff means how much we need to give the tariff, means per call how much, per data how much, they were fighting. The telecom regulator's September decision to more than half the fee that operators pay on cross-network calls has only added to their woes. Woes means troubles. What has happened means telecom regulators, they have taken a decision in September. Who? Telecom regulator. What is it saying? More than half the fee that operators pay on the cross-network. Cross-network means suppose you have Jio and you are calling Airtel. This is cross-network. For cross-network calls, you need to pay more than half. Whose decision? Telecom regulator. Yes. And this decision created more troubles, more problems, resulting in steep continuing erosion of average revenues per user and margins. And because of this, what happened? Steep continuous, a straight incline is called steep. So steep and continuing erosion in average revenues per user and margins. So what erosion means? Damaging, destroying. So user and margins erosion happened. Many people skipped this. Many people did not use this particular feature in other networks. Now he is talking about Jio, entry of Jio. Because of entry of Jio, what happened? Now after the blank, with about 430 million subscribers, Vodafone Idea. Now after the blank is talking about Vodafone Idea. Vodafone Idea would vault past Bharti Airtel's current India's customer base of about 345 million to the top of the heap. Now who is leading Vodafone India? Both Vodafone Idea together, they are leading with the customer base of how much? How many? 430 million subscribers. They are dominating whom? Airtel customers. Airtel has only 345. But this scale that they gain would ultimately count for little if the combination fails to staunch customer losses and do that without compromising on the business viability. If Vodafone and Idea do not take care of their customer bases or customer losses, customers are losing day by day because of the entry of Jio. So if Vodafone and Idea don't take care of customer losses, then they can't compromise on their business viability. They can't survive. They need to take care of their customers. Above the passage, entry of Jio. Above the blank. Below the blank, Vodafone and Idea. First one. The managements of Vodafone and Idea have repeatedly underscored means highlighted the competitive challenges facing them, with both operators losing customers and the latter awash in red ink, maybe. Here is talking about managements of both Idea and what are they highlighting? They are highlighting the challenges, competitive challenges facing them, and with both operators, Vodafone and Idea, they are losing customers, and the latter means what here? What is latter here? Do you know former and latter? Former means first mentioned, latter means second mentioned or recently mentioned. Here Vodafone Idea. So latter means Idea awash in red ink. So both are having losses, customer losses. Management is facing challenges. First one. Second one, the cost of bidding for fresh wireless spectrum. Is the passage about fresh wireless spectrum? No. Passage is not about fresh wireless spectrum. The third one, the combine will therefore can come at the conclusion, not in the middle. The combine means Vodafone and Idea will therefore need more than just a few smart ideas, as Idea sellers earlier marketing campaign used to stress to make a fist of their merger. So this can become a conclusion rather than a middle statement. Vodafone Idea Limited, as the new business will be called, ought to be happy with the way things have panned out. But the situation on the ground is far from ideal. Maybe. Vodafone and Idea, they ought to be happy. They should be happy because of the way things are going on. But the situation on the ground is far from the reality. In reality is different. Maybe. This consolidation, what consolidation? Above the blank, he did not mention consolidation. After the blank only consolidation. Consolidation means combining together or solidifying. So fifth one, no. Answer is 1 or 4. Say something, 1 or 4. Answer is 1, because managements of both Vodafone and Idea facing competitive challenges. But here in the fourth one, he is talking about reality is different. Indian banks trying to sell their troubled assets now have one less hurdle to cross. They are trying to sell what? Troubled assets. They are trying to sell troubled assets now have one less hurdle to cross. They have a problem of this bad loans, troubled assets, and they have one less hurdle to cross. What is that hurdle to cross? Let's see. A group of banks, including public sector, private sector, and foreign banks, signed an intercreditor agreement on Monday to push for the speedy resolution of non-performing loans on their balance sheets. Group of banks, public and private sector banks, foreign banks, they signed an agreement called intercreditor agreement on Monday. And why did they sign that agreement? All of them have come together to sign an agreement. Why? To push the speedy resolution. They have non-performing loans. All the banks have non-performing loans on their balance sheets. So to get the speedy resolution, they have come together for an agreement. According to the agreement, a majority representing 2/3 of the loans within a consortium of lenders should now be sufficient to override any objection to the resolution process coming from dissenting lenders. For example, 2-3 banks have, for example, Vijay Mallya is there. Vijay Mallya has taken loan from first bank, second bank and third bank also. Then what happened? These 3 people combined together, they can take strict action on this person. Those 3 people can decide, because they get the majority, they can decide this person. Sometimes they can decide the lender also sometimes. Majority can decide the lender, majority can decide the customer for a resolution. Now after the blank, inter-creditor agreement is aimed at the resolution of loan accounts with the size of 50 crore and above that are under control of group of lenders. So inter-creditor agreement, it does not deal with small loans, it deals with the 50 crore above loans only. It is a part of Sashakt plan approved by the government to address the problem of resolving bad loans. So it comes under the program of government, Sashakt. Now let's look at the options. Before blank, above the blank, what is given above and below the blank? Inter-creditor agreement is given. Such an agreement may persuade means convince. Such an agreement can convince banks to embark more quickly on resolution plan for stressed assets, maybe. The government hopes that the holdout problem where government cannot hope in between, government can hope last only, it can be conclusion, it cannot come in the middle. The government hopes that the holdout problem where objections of few lenders prevent a settlement between the majority lenders will be solved through inter-creditor agreement. Government hoping can come at the end. Over the last few years, Indian banks have been forced by RBI to recognize troubled assets on their books, but their resolution has remained a challenge, maybe. The certainty for banks remains a ruckus. Ruckus means a kind of mess. The certainty for banks remains kind of mess for the sector as it dissuades. Opposite of persuade is dissuade. Persuade means convince or encourage, dissuade, discourage. So the sector as it dissuades the plans as faced by banking sectors which employ harmony. May or may not be. Minority lenders who suspect they are being shortchanged by other lenders can now either sell their assets at a discount to willing buyer or buy out loans from other lenders at a premium. Maybe. Answer can be 1 or 3 or 5. In 1 he is talking about same thing. Quickly we can get the solution. It is already mentioned in the passage, above the blank, below the blank, mentioned quick solution. So cannot be 1, it can be 3 or 5. He did not mention anything about RBI in the passage. He mentioned government, but he did not mention RBI. So answer is 5. In 5, what is he telling? Suppose you have problem, you have loan problem, for example, A, B, C, D, E. You have a problem, for example, D bank has a problem with customers and loans. This D can sell all the loans to B, if B is ready to buy. B will buy all these loans and he will recover the loans according to his capacity or its capacity. So you can sell the loans, troubled loans to other organization. You can sell or you can buy. Dash, the move by the India government to amend means amendments. Amend means change or modify, especially written. Whatever is there in the constitution amendments. Already written rule is there that you want to change, that written rule changing is called amendment. The move by the India government to amend the far-sighted law, they want to change this law, aims at eroding the independence of the information commissions at the national level in the state. Whatever the move India government has taken, what is that move? Changing the far-sighted law. Far-sighted means long-sighted in the future. Changing the far-sighted law, what does it aim at? It aims at eroding the independence, destroying the freedom of information commissions. So whatever the government has made a move that is destroying the independence of information commissions at the national level and in the states. Let's look at the options. The center will also fix the terms, may or may not be. The center will also fix the terms for state information commissioners, may or may not be. This is an ill-advised move. What is ill-advised move? See, if second should come, the second should come here after the first sentence here. In the, here, right after the blank he is mentioned move. After the move only you can tell, after mentioning the move you can tell what is that move. So second one cannot come before the blank, in the blank. Third one, if at all the law needs to be amended only to bring about full compliance by the government departments and agencies that receive substantial funding from the exchequer, maybe. If amendment should happen means, then what they need to do? They need to take the compliance. Compliance means obedience. Obedience, strict, sincere following. So the government departments and agencies should sincerely follow that amendment. Then only it can happen. Maybe third one. As a law that empowers the citizen, the Right to Information Act 2005 quickly struck root in a country saddled with the colonial legacy of strict security government. He is talking about Right to Information Act. Did he mention Right to Information Act there? He is talking about eroding independence of information. Because of India government move, we will lose the independence. The move will destroy the independence of the information. There will be no freedom for information. The proposed amendment show that the central government seeks control over tenure, salary, allowances of the Chief Information Commissioner and Information Commissioners at the center and state Chief Commissioners. Such a change would eliminate the parity. Parity means equality. They currently have the Chief Election Commissioner and Election Commissioner and therefore equivalence with the Judge of Supreme Court in matters of pay, allowance and condition. Now he is talking about the tenure pay allowances who are received by Election Commissioner and Supreme Court Judge. They are having comparisons among themselves regarding pay and allowances. Do you know about this issue? The salary issue. The Chief Election Commissioner salary is more or equivalent to Judge, Supreme Court Judge. Do you know this issue? Supreme Court Judge is the head of these people, commissioners people. In fact, if you take legally, and these all of them are getting equal pay. One person, one Chief Election Commissioner has filed a case in RTI. I want information how much a Supreme Court Judge is getting. Sorry, not Information Commissioner, Supreme Court Judge. One judge has filed a information. He wanted information, so in RTI he got the information. After getting information, when he is checking, his salary is equivalent to Election Commissioner's salary. So I am not great. They got conflict. Why did they get conflict? Because of the information. If there was no information, no conflict. Suppose your manager is getting same salary, PO is getting same salary, then what happens? Fighting happens, obviously. Your manager can't sleep. Same thing happened there. So he is talking about fourth one, as a law that empowers citizen, Right to Information Act struck the root in country saddled with colonial legacy of secretive government. So whatever the government secrets are there, they are also coming out with RTI. It is a kind of negative thing he is saying, maybe, to extend its scope to more institutions that have an influence and official power. No, fifth one not related. Answer can be 3 or 4. Answer is fourth one. Information. Okay, last one. How is the passage size? Negotiations on the RCEP among 16 Asian and Pacific Ocean countries have entered a decisive phase. So there are 16 Asian and Pacific countries and negotiations are happening. They have come to an important phase. Most potential member countries of the grouping that comprises 10 Asian members and their free trade agreement partners, Australia, China, India, Japan, New Zealand and Republic of Korea would like to see a substantive agreement. So these 10 Asian members and those countries, they will come to a very important agreement on the trade deal by the end of this year. So countries are meeting to get some to agreement, to come for an agreement. At a meeting in Singapore, which is driving the effort as the current Asian chair, countries which still have issues with the outline of the agreements reached so far may be told politely to step aside and allow a smaller group to go ahead and finalizing with finalizing the RCEP. So what is happening means countries which still have issues, some countries have issues with the trade deal. So those whoever have issues with the outline of agreement, what they are telling, you can simply step aside, let other smaller group will come and join this, with the option of join it at a later date. If you have issue with the trade deal, you step aside, other countries will come and join. India, now talking about India. India is among the countries that will have to take a call at this point. And the government's decision to set up a group of 4 ministers to advise Prime Minister Narendra Modi on the path ahead indicates the seriousness of the situation. Now Narendra Modi team has got 4 ministers. They are advising Narendra Modi Prime Minister to address this issue. And that is indicating the seriousness of the situation. India's concerns with RCEP negotiations thus far are many-fold. So India's concerns with these negotiations are many, but some have been addressed. Negotiations have been addressed, India's negotiations. The first is the greater access Chinese goods will have to the Indian market a problem given India's massive trade deficit. So he is talking about, many issues are there, some issues have been addressed. Out of which first issue is the greater access Chinese goods will have. Whatever the Chinese goods are there, they will have access in India to the Indian market. A problem given India's massive trade deficit. If more Chinese goods are coming to India, then India will have a massive trade deficit. Now first problem India is telling the problem. On the other hand, more developed RCEP countries such as Australia, Singapore have been unwilling to accommodate India's demands. India did not keep any demands so far. India has problems. India wants to address the situation. First one, no. Second one, to circumvent. Circumvent means overcome this. To overcome this, given that India is the one country that does not have FTA with China, the government has proposed a differential market access strategy for China, which others are inclined to accept. Maybe. To overcome this problem, the first problem is mentioning India has a problem. Chinese goods are coming into India and India is not able to tackle it. So to overcome this, given that India is the one country that does not have FTA with China, some FTA agreement is not there with the China, so the government has proposed what? Differential market access. Government has proposed differential market access strategy for whom? For China. Whereas others are inclined to accept, China is not ready to accept. Maybe second one. A better regime. Regime means kingdom, province, sector. A better regime and allowed freer mobility of Indian workers. Indian workers not related. He is talking about trade business, not workers. Indians must not take the easiest way out on the trade deal and walk out of the talks. He is giving solution, but there is a problem. Here he is giving opinion. Author is giving some opinion. In fact, there is little composure between the countries that need to be resolved. Answer is second one. To work on this. Finished finally? Amaya, we finished. Now next one, this abnormality. Can it be the first sentence? Now, today Hindu society is complicit in massive crimes perpetrated against Dalits, Muslims and women because it is silent in the face of atrocities practiced by vigilantes who single-handedly define what they consider morality and to punish people merely on the suspicion they violate codes of Hinduism. Maybe first sentence. Reports in newspaper bring stories of horrific violence. Maybe first sentence. Backed by political patrons? No. What can be the first sentence? B or C? B or C? B. Today Hindu society. So Hindu society is what is doing? Hindu society is creating crimes against the Dalits and Muslims and some women because it is silent in the face of atrocities. Whenever atrocity is happening, it is silent. And practiced by vigilantes who single-handedly define what they consider morality. Whatever they consider morality, they are going ahead with that. And who punish people merely on suspicion when they violate codes of Hinduism. And they are directly punishing people based on only suspicion. If they get suspicion that these people are violating codes of Hinduism, they are punishing. So first one is B. So answer is 2 or 4. 2 or 4. After B, D or C. Now D, if you look at D, backed by powerful political patrons and compliant police force, vigilantes and legislators, prosecutors, juries and executioners are rolled into one. D should come or C. Reports in newspaper bring stories of horrific violence perpetrated by, they are, they are punishing, those people are punishing, and the same reports are coming in the newspaper. So, answer is fourth one, BCAD. Both sides knew, both sides means which sides we don't know. A handful of states followed them, followed whom? Not first sentence. Tragically, during the Cold War, the US and the Soviet Union argued that the world was in a life or death struggle, maybe first sentence. Tragically, this, no. What is the first sentence? C. So obviously, keep the fourth one, C. Most of the other nuclear weapon states may or may not be. After all, not the first sentence. After 70 years, the vast majority of countries may be. They, no. First sentence can be either A or C. What is the first sentence? Let me read both. Most of the other nuclear weapon states led by US did not try to hide behind a diplomatic procedure. After 70 years, the vast majority of countries around the world suspect that day may never come. Which day? Here is mentioning that day. Which day? In C, whatever you said, C can be the first sentence. But in C, what is he saying? The vast majority of countries around the world suspect that day may never come. Which day? So this cannot be the first sentence. A is the first sentence. An aspect of this, can it be the first sentence? No. The forces that have catapulted US may or may not be. This is no. While race as a category may have been discredited in science, the primordial loyalties that early observers, mostly from West, had characterized as racial have not only been part of the history of mankind but also remains to this day. To this day, no problem. Answer first sentence is B or D? D is the first sentence. Delhi. An ameliorating factor. Ameliorating means soothing. Ameliorate means soothe. Thus, can it be the first sentence? No. Overall, however, no. This is no. First sentence is A. So, is it 5? Now the Cloze test. The Supreme Court is currently hearing oral arguments in Indian Young Lawyers Association versus State of Kerala. Who is listening? Supreme Court is listening to oral arguments. Who is making those arguments? Indian Young Lawyers Association versus State of Kerala, in which rules that bar the entry of women aged between 10 and 15 into the Sabarimala temple in Kerala. So the issue is about the women entering into that Sabarimala temple in Kerala. The issue is about that. So, temple in Kerala dash. Placing reliance on these rules. Reliance means a trust. No. Placing trust won't come because he is talking about issue, problem. They have been called into question, maybe. Arguments have been called into question, maybe. From entering the shrine, already mentioned, women entering the temple. Already mentioned, third one would not come. Would affect the idol celibacy. Is he mentioning if women enter the temple, idol, whatever the idol is, their statue in the temple, that celibacy is, celibacy, do you know celibacy? Austerity. Celibacy, the state of not being married is called celibacy. Austerity means strict discipline. Following strict discipline is austerity. So if women enter, what happens? It will affect the God's celibacy and austerity, or no change. The oral arguments will do what? Here the main subject is oral arguments. So oral arguments have been called into question. Answer is second one. Oral arguments have been called into a question. At a purely dash. At a purely. And purely means what? Adverb. Say. A purely means adverb. And blank is given and level is there. Level means here noun. And what is the partner of noun? Adjective. And what is the partner of adverb? Adverb partner is verb and adjective. So I require an adjective in this blank. A purely dash level. I require an adjective. At a purely dash level. At a purely screeching level, screeching means shouting, crying. Arthanadalu. Crying. Berate. Berate means degrade. Degrade. Chinna chupu chuddam. Degrading somebody. Berating level, at a purely berating level, unreflecting, without any thought, thoughtlessly, maybe. Revile. Revile has got a negative meaning. Answer is third one, unreflecting. A purely unreflecting level, the case might well appear to us to be an easy one to resolve. So if you don't think much, the case will become easy for us, but it is not. To prohibit women from entering a public space, from worshipping in a dash, a dash. What should come after a and the? After a and the only possibility is noun. Sometimes adjective also comes, and sometimes partner of adjective, adverb also comes. Regularly noun. So at a dash, comma, so noun is needed. At a shrine of their own choice, maybe. At a case, in a shrine of their, in a shrine of their own choice, yes. In a the, in a how, in a rights. Answer is 1. In a shrine of their own choice. Shrine means temple. In a shrine of their own choice. Worshipping in a shrine of their own choice. One would think ought to be anathema. Anathema means dislike. Strong dislike or hatred. Anathema to the tenets of constitutional democracy. But as a study of the rival dash, again the rival dash. The is there, rival is there, and dash is there. Rival is an adjective, and I require a noun here in the blank. In the blank, noun is needed. The rival dash. The rival glut. Glut means abundant, more. Anything which is more, plenty is called a glut. Glutton means a person who eats more. Contentions. Contentions means disagreement, bone of contention. Sardonic means criticize. Epigram means witty remarks or one-line punch. One-liners, one-line comedy, one-line jokes, one-line punches is called epigram. Answer is contentions. Sardonic is adjective, not suitable. Rival contentions, rival disagreements. So, as a study of the rival disagreements made before the 5-judge bench that heard arguments shows us the religious freedom clauses in the Constitution are possessed of a serial complexity. So, whatever the arguments they heard, 5-judge bench heard these arguments, and what they have said, the religious freedom clauses in the Constitution are possessed of special complexity. So, whatever the religious issues are there, they are extremely complex, which the court's own past jurisprudence has turned into a dash of contradictions. Earlier also they have dealt with these religious issues. Again they had problems. They have turned into a dash of, again before the blank what is given, A is given, a dash of. So here again I require adjective kind of thing, adjective or noun, a dash of. A dash of contradictions. A furtive, furtive means secretive. A vituperate of, vituperate, again it has got negative meaning. It slipped out of my memory, I am not able to recollect. Voluptuous means attractive, adjective. Attractive women is called voluptuous. Quagmire, difficult situation. A difficult situation is called quagmire. Do you know the thick sand? In Magadira movie, the hero falls into the thick sand. The thick sand, loose sand will suck the hero, suck the horse cart into the sand. That is called quagmire. And if it is liquid, it is called bog. Quagmire is a difficult situation. Answer is quagmire. Quagmire of contradictions. Were the court to enter into analysis of these rival claims, but by conducting something similar, akin to means similar to a trial on whether there exists a tradition as claimed that is essential to the practice of religion, it would be exceeding the remit of its authority. Now the court and law is doubting, should we enter this religious concept or not? Are we going beyond the religion or not? They are a bit doubtful now. Effectively causing it to shoulder a dash. To shoulder pray at the shrine? No. To shoulder rights to be recognized as equals under Constitution? To shoulder seeking to assert not only their freedom to unreservedly enter, not only is there means but also should be there, but also is there? No, but also is not there. Third one, no. To shoulder dogmatic power over theology. Dogmatic means belief. Belief over theology. Theology means religion. So answer is fourth one. To shoulder a dogmatic power over theology. Therefore, what we need is a subtler, yet more profound inquiry. So again, the court is thinking we require more subtler and profound inquiry. Once the court finds that the Sabarimala temple does not represent a separate denomination, the court must ask itself whether it should yield to the temple's view on an assumption that there does exist a time-honored custom prohibiting any women aged between 10-15 years from praying at the shrine. On such study, the court will undoubtedly notice that most policies of exclusion in India's history have been defended as being dash of faith. Now, court is thinking, should we follow the old tradition of not allowing women to enter the temple, or should we do anything else? They are thinking. So, India's history have been defended as being dash of faith. What should come after being? B forms. Izamar, Waswar, V3, V4, NAP. Only these are the possibilities. Is, are, was, were, be, been, being. After all this, only these are suitable. V3, V4, NAP is suitable. NAP means not daytime sleeping here. NAP means noun, adjective and preposition. These things are needed. After being, I require V3, V4 or NAP. So, being dash of faith. Being disability is imposed by custom of faith, maybe. Being extension of prescription of faith, maybe. Beyond faith here, extension. Being the usage on certain classes of Hindus, no. He did not talk about the classes of Hinduism. Being broad exceptions to the freedom of religion, of faith, maybe. Answer is 1, 2, 4. Tell me the answer. Disabilities won't come. Disabilities by the custom won't come. Inability, okay, not disability. Disability is for persons, not for the organizations. Answer can be 2 or 4. Being extensions of prescription or being broad exceptions to the freedom of religion of faith. Answer. Where is it? This being dash of faith. Being broad exceptions to the freedom of religion of faith, being extensions of prescription of faith. Answer is fourth one. Of being rooted in culture and tradition. To differ in associations, leaders in the matter such as these can only therefore have the effect of immortalizing discrimination. Given the dash relationship, relationship is given noun, so we require adjective. Inexorable, unstoppable, continuous. Cadence, noun. ENC is noun, noun is not needed. Cadence relationship not needed. Exorable, yes. Epicurean, again noun. Epicurean means a person who likes eating food. Fourth one, no. Answer is 1 or 3. Continuous or discontinuous? Answer is first one, inexorable. Given the inexorable relationship in India between religion and public life, it's time the court. It is time. Now tell me the grammar. Whenever its time comes, what should I use after this? Its time. Its time, after its time, always past simple. It's time we finish the class. You never heard in past tense? In material also it is there, past exercises. Class finish చేసుకోవాల్సిన టైం వచ్చేసింది. It's time we got the jobs. Jobs తెచ్చేసుకోవాల్సిన టైం వచ్చేసింది. That is the structure. We can search in our material also, it's there. Practice past once again. So it's time the court, in the interest, past is not there. Intrinsic phase, no. Shattered, yes. Shattered the conventional divides, yes. Crucially to the guarantee, no. Answer is third one, grammatically. It shattered, the court shattered the conventional divides. And a court conventional divides shatter cheyalsina time vachesindi. Divides of the public and the private. If the court can look beyond the essential practices doctrine and see this case for what it really is, a denial to women not only of their individual rights to freedom of religion but also of equal access to public space, it can help set the tone for a radical rereading of the Constitution. This can help the court reimagine its jurisprudence in diverse areas, making a meaningful differences to people's civil rights across spectrums of caste, class, gender and religion. Ultimately, the Constitution must be seen as representing not a dash conception. Before blank article A is there a dash conception, ION is noun. So what do I require here? Adjective is required. A dash conception. A hoary means repeated use of a word. If a word you are repeatedly using, repeat use of word is called hoary. Cloze means disgust. Revivify means re-energize. Re-energize. Dispel means make something disappear. Make something disappear. Disappear. And dispel is verb, cannot come. Revivify verb, cannot come. Answer 1, 2. Hoary conception or Cloze conception. Answer is hoary. Hoary conception of boundaries between the state and the individual, but as a transcendental rule for social revolution. The antibiotic resistance crisis, which is threatening to render many disease. Antibiotic resistance is talking. That is threatening. Antibiotic resistance is threatening to render many diseases. Ramification. Ramification means consequences. So render many diseases, consequences, no. Many diseases untreatable, yes. Suffrage. Suffrage is related to voting system. The ability to vote. Fragile means weak. Diseases weak, no. So untreatable, second is suitable. And prerogative. Prerogative is also nothing but it is related to vote. Voting at the important time. The right to vote. So third one, fifth one related to vote may not be suitable. Fragile means weak. So in the first blank, second should come. Options. First option or second option. Let's look at the second blank. Many diseases untreatable is being fueled not just by overuse of drugs, but a dash supply chain. A fragile supply chain may be, or a prerogative supply chain. Prerogative cannot come because it is related to voting system. Answer fragile. Fragile means weak supply chain is at risk of collapse. Answer 1. Universal dash and the principle that everyone's vote must carry. Universal franchise and principle may be. Plebiscite, again, right to vote. Right to vote, right to decide a candidate. Mandated, universal mandated cannot come mandatory. Carte blanche, group of people voting. Group of people voting or deciding a person, carte blanche. So universal franchise, plebiscite, carte blanche. Not sure about the first blank, let's look at the second blank. And the principle that everyone's vote must carry equal value were part of the Indian Constitution originally. Subsequent Constitution amendments have. After have, what should I use? V3. V3 or bean or noun. If noun should come, article should be there. A franchise, A plebiscite, A carte blanche, A charter should come. So article is not there, so I need only mandated in the second blank. 3. So look at the options. 3 is associated with. 3 is associated with second one. Second one is the answer. Universal franchisee and the constitution amendments have mandated. The constitution embodies a dash vision, a validating. Validating means giving validation, giving acceptance. Acknowledging vision maybe, arousing vision maybe, ratify means accepts. Accepting vision maybe, sanction vision not correct, an accountable vision maybe. Not sure about the first blank, let's go for the second. But it stands on a brittle. Brittle means weak, easily broken. A glass is always brittle, a mirror is always brittle. But it stands on brittle foundations. Projecting its texts and its values requires an independent judiciary that is not only committed to constitution, but it is also democratically. Democratically, ly means adverb. After adverb, I require adjective or verb. So that is democratically validating, that is democratically rousing, democratically ratifying, democratically sanctioned. Sanction is not suitable for anything. Democratically accountable, yes. So judiciary that is not only committed to constitutionalism, but that is also democratically accountable. So accountable should come in the next second blank, 5. So what is associated with 5? Answer third one, 2 and 5. So rousing vision, inspiring vision, rousing vision. Argentina is not alone among major dash economists. Assent means giving permission. Assent economists wrong. Groove economists, groove means related to plants, no. Emerging economists, yes. Recurrent economists, not sure. Contemporaneous means current, now happening, maybe. It can be. Which is more suitable, economists, emerging, recurrent or contemporaneous? Economists, generally which word goes with economists? Emerging economists. In trying to weather the current run on currencies due to rallying US dollar and rising interest rates, but with a history of dash defaults. Assent defaults, groove of defaults, no. Emerging defaults, no. Recurrent defaults, continuous happening, maybe. Contemporaneous. So answer 3, 4, 5 only. But what should come before the economists? Emerging, 3. So answer 1 or 3. Emerging economists, recurrent defaults or contemporaneous defaults. Contemporary means what? Existing at the same time. NTR and ANR were contemporaries. They existed at the same time. Bhagat Singh and Subhash Chandra Bose were contemporaries. Subhash Chandra Bose and Hitler were contemporaries. Albert Einstein and Rabindranath Tagore were contemporaries. Similarly, we are contemporaries living in the same time. So contemporary defaults, no. Answer 3, 4. First one. Recurrent defaults and devaluation. Dash monsoon rains are unlikely to lift India's rural economy. Efficacy is related to efficiency, no. Efficacy monsoon rains, no. Precept, before we do anything, precepts. Bountiful rains, bountiful means plenty, yes. It will come. Exhortation means forcing, and exhortation of should come. Glut means, just now we have seen, glut means plenty, more. Glut of monsoon should come again. Glut of, 5th one, no. Answer is 3rd one, bountiful monsoon rains. So 3rd one, where is 3rd one? Answer is 4th one. Bountiful monsoon regions are unlikely to lift India's rural economy this year and may instead compound the woes, means troubles of millions of debt-ridden farmers who are struggling with low prices amid a glut of produce. Yes, 4th one is the answer, 3, 5. Now the synthesis or the pairing, conjunction or connector related. The country requires a minimum wage. It requires something, minimum wage. The workers paid below poverty line have an added cost on society. Still is used in positive. The country requires a minimum wage, still workers paid below poverty line. Country requires minimum wage, but they were paid below poverty line. Maybe they require minimum wage, but they were paid low. Maybe the country requires minimum wage because workers paid below poverty line. Maybe though country requires minimum wage, workers paid no. Though although cannot come, both have same meaning. Answer can be 2 or 3. 2 or 3. Country ki em kavali, minimum wage kavali, but workers paid below the poverty line because workers paid below poverty line. Because workers are getting low payment, that's why they require minimum wage. Answer is third one. Because they are getting low pay, that's why they require minimum wage. The sky had grown darker, negative. The wind made queer. Queer means strange. Strange sobbing sound, wind, as it swept over valley. Sky had grown darker again, but wind made no. Both negative only, kind of frightening. Bayabette-laga undanamata. Sky dark ga undi, and sounds also dangerous sounds. Though also cannot come, because though requires what? Contrary statements. Positive, negative, negative, positive. But here both are negative only. The sky had grown darker again till the wind made sounds. No. The sky had grown darker again, and wind also made, yes. Instead, no. Answer is fourth. The sky became darker and the wind also made sobbing sound. If it were stigmatized and public opinion dramatically and pervasively changed, that would force policy change. If it were stigmatized and public opinion dramatically and pervasively changed, I guess here the conjunction is needed. Conjunction is needed here after changed. Ikkada ravali conjunction. Opinion dramatically and pervasively changed up to that one particular subclause. Then, moreover, that would force policy change. However, that would force policy change. Still that word, but that word, and that word. So, if it were stigmatized, public opinion dramatically and pervasively changed, moreover, that would force policy. Moreover, yes. However, may or may not be. But however, both have same meaning, contrast. And moreover and same meaning. Answer 1, 5 or 2, 4. Do you know the meaning of stigmatized? Some people do not talk about this. The adult issues are generally not discussed everywhere, especially in the families or outside also. You know, this boy-boy relationship, girl-girl relationship. Those things are not discussed. If we discuss, it is called stigma. It is called social stigma. We are away from society. So those issues, if we discuss, it is called stigma, social stigma. Some issues should not be discussed. So stigma means that prevented or banned kind of thing. If it were stigmatized, if something was stigmatized and public opinion dramatically changed, if it changed, then what happens? Moreover, it would force public policy change. Still it would, but would and would. Answer is moreover. Moreover, that would force policy change. Simple, you know, this equal gender can get married. Do you know that issue? Same gender can get married. Do you know that issue in the court case? Leave that aside. Answer, take 1. He was respectful of her outcome, positive. Sorry, he was respectful of her concerns. She has some concerns and he was showing respect. They did not see eye to eye on any of it except the fact that they both wanted another child. So, he was respectful of her concerns and they did not see. Did not see is negative. They did not see eye to eye. No. He was respectful of her concerns. Nevertheless, they did not see eye to eye, any of it except the fact they both wanted, maybe. He was respectful of her concerns. However, they did not see, maybe. Both have same meaning. And though also same meaning. Though he was respectful of her concerns, they did not see eye to eye. Maybe third one also possible, fourth one also possible. He was respectful of concerns, but they did not see. Consider 5. 2, 3, 4, 5, all can be used. But you better take but. Positive, negative case directly. Texting while driving is dangerous. It's illegal in some states. Answer, easy answer. Texting while driving. Earlier people were only talking on phones while driving. While driving the bike, talking on phones, that is not good. But these days what is happening? Leave talking aside, they are chatting also. One hand they are using accelerator and the other hand chatting. It is extremely dangerous. So texting while driving is dangerous. Moreover, it is illegal in some states. However, it is illegal. Still it is illegal, but instead answer moreover. Moreover. I could not shut my eyes, negative, eyes to the force and weight of their arguments. So I could not close my eyes for their arguments, and I saw plainly that I must abandon schemes as impracticable. I could not close my eyes. But I cannot use in the middle and I cannot use at the beginning also. Although I can use. Although I could not close my eyes and I saw plainly that I must abandon dash scheme as impracticable. Although can be used, but again and doubtful. Still I could not shut my eyes to their arguments and I saw plainly that I must abandon scheme, maybe. Instead I could not shut. I could not close my eyes. Instead and I saw. Answer 2, 3, 4. I could not close my eyes to the arguments. Still and I saw plainly that I must. Answer, consider 4. Actually it is not appropriate because already conjunction is given. Combining both and is given. Consider still. Because although have same meaning. She had a lamp. The cellar was still dark, eerily. Eerily means frighteningly, bayapette vidhanga. Darana. So she had a lantern, it is dark. She had lantern, but the cellar was eerily dark, yes. Though she had a lantern, cellar was eerily dark. Both are possible, 2, 3. She had a lantern, still it was dark. Maybe. She had a lantern, nevertheless, however, the cellar was still dark. What is suitable? All are suitable according to me. What is your answer? She has a lamp, but the cellar was dark. She has a lamp, but it was not working. So first one not connected. So although she has a lantern, the cellar was dark. Second, third possible. Though she had a lantern, still it was dark. Still no. Nevertheless, consider nevertheless. She had a lantern. The cellar was still dark. 5. He had studied hard for this test, positive. He failed to get an A, negative. Positive, negative. Answer, but he studied hard, but he failed. Other also possible, though also possible. But consider but. In 1 week, we will celebrate the coronation. In 1 week, still we will celebrate. In 1 week, we will. Though in 1 week, we will celebrate. Although, answer hence. Hence means from now. Hence has got a meaning from now. In 1 week hence we will celebrate the coronation. Coronation means celebration, kind of celebration. The blizzard grounded all the flights. Blizzard means kind of shining. The blizzard grounded all the flights. Because of blizzard, flights are not moving. Therefore, she could not be able to fly home. however she leave should come. Flights ఆగిపోయాయి అయినా కానీ వెళ్ళింది. It grounded all the flights. Moreover, she would not be able to fly. No. Instead, she would. What is the last one? Nevertheless. No, answer is therefore. The climate was not good. That's why flights were not moving. Therefore, kabatti, so she would not be able to fly. Answer 1. 46th one. If I complete this last straw, idiomatic expression, last straw. If I complete this last straw, I will complete this level. Last stage of any work, maybe. Last thing of a series of a distribution, maybe. Final judgment, serious matters, may or may not. Final problem in a series of problems. Last page of any book. Answer. Last straw means last level, last of something negative. In troubles, last thing. In problems, last thing. Suppose if you feel examination is a difficult, examination is a headache, examination is a trouble, then what happens after clearing your prelims? Only interview is there. Interview is my last straw. If I complete this last straw, I will get the job. So series of a trouble, last of a trouble. The final problem of a trouble. Answer 1, 2, 4. Answer. The final problem in a series of problems. Answer 4. Becky showed the white feather and backed down. Back down and వెనకడుగు వేశాడు. He stepped back. Answer. To act as a warrior? No. Covered? Yes. Act as a king? No. Foolish? Impudent. Impudent means rude. Answer is covered. Second one. Covered opposite is brave. Sumit always wears his heart on his sleeves, so there is no doubt to whom he will be supporting. Do you wear your heart on your sleeve? Wearing heart on your sleeve means everything is open. He does not hide anything. He reveals everything. His life is like open book. Ravi Teja always wears his heart on his sleeves in all the movies. His character is like this. So to be always afraid? No. To be always judgmental? No. To make your feelings and opinions obvious to other people? Yes. Support someone? Always acknowledge small things. Answer is third one. To make your feelings, opinions obvious to other people. His performance in the test matches served as a litmus test whether he would join the one-day team. Litmus test means a way of proving oneself right to others, a way of gratifying. Gratifying means satisfying. A test that is very tough to crack? Yes. An experiment done with great but fails? No. An experiment that seeks to determine the state of one important factor. Answer 3 or 5? Answer. That seeks to determine the state of an important factor. His performance in the test matches served as litmus test whether he would join. 5. Here 5. Second is also okay, but there 5. Based on his performance, he'll get the seat in finals. My friend is in doldrums. Doldrums means doleful, sad. Since a week and nothing I do seem to cheer him up. To feel happy, to feel doubtful, to feel sad, to feel anxious, to feel shocked. Answer feels sad. Third one. That's all about now. Thank you for your participation. Do you want a comprehension?